Welcome everyone to the San Jose Opportunities Information Session. As a preview of what's to come in the next hour, we'll start by hearing from the San Jose Office of Cultural Affairs, followed by overviews of the Business of Art Workshop Series and the Creative Economy Fund. And we'll leave time at the end to take questions. It's now my pleasure to introduce Senior Arts Manager from the San Jose Office of Cultural Affairs, Danielle Cienviera. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. It's really great to see so many of you come to our session to learn about how we can support you and the work that you do as artists, as culture makers, as creative businesses. The creative economy in San Jose is critical. There are many studies that have come out that show that arts and the creative economy have contributed billions to the economy worldwide, and multi-millions to the Silicon Valley. And we can talk about that on another time, but I feel like you understand your value. I understand your value in the ecosystem, the economic ecosystem of San Jose and the Silicon Valley. And we want to be able to make that thrive and be supportive of you through programs like the one that we're about to present with the Center for Cultural Innovation, one of our really critical partners. Just to give you a little background of the Office of Cultural Affairs, which is now part of the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs. It's the champion of San Jose's artistic and cultural vibrancy, resources, and vision. We are the City of San Jose's lead agency for supporting the development of rich arts and cultural environment for this diverse cities, 1 million residents and many visitors. The arts and culture are essential elements in the character and quality of life in the vibrant San Jose community. As the largest city in Northern California and the capital of Silicon Valley, San Jose is the hub to a wide array of arts and cultural opportunities. We're happy to provide some of those with and for you. We also want to be able to connect you to our other grant programs. We have several grant opportunities throughout the year for organizations, individual artists. We have our director, Ram Maria, who is also here, who's part of our arts industry support team, who supports those grants. And so you can always come back to sanjoseculture.org to find out more about that information. I want to also start the session really importantly with a land acknowledgement. I know that all of you are zooming in from different areas of town right now, but I want to acknowledge our anti-racist journey in San Jose begins with acknowledgement that we, as settlers and the displanted people, reside in the unceded sacred land of the Tamian people. We are aware that the U.S. began on the conquest and genocide of the indigenous people and grew its wealth from enslaved Africans, forced labor. We offer a land acknowledgement to the ancestors and descendants of this land who are now members of the reorganized tribes and groups such as the Muwekme Ohlone tribe, the Confederated Villages of Lisjan, the Himrin of Ohlone, the Bay Miwok, Plains Miwok, Ama Mutsin tribal band, and the Indian Canyon Nation. They have inhabited and stewarded the unceded lands of the San Francisco Bay Area for thousands of years. We have much to learn from the indigenous people, including the deep cultural and spiritual respect that demonstrate for our natural world. May we learn to walk in a humble and honorable way, acknowledging indigenous knowledge systems that lead to more sustainable and relational futures. So with that, I also want to recognize our partners here who have been really critical in the development of our opportunities for the Creative Economy Fund, which used to be called the Creative Industries Incentive Fund, and the Business of Art Program. Center for Cultural Innovation is actually a key partner in helping us get funds to you and get programs for professional development to you. And this is a great partnership where they are helping with some of the facilitation of bringing in excellent talent in terms of the educators and workshop facilitators for the business of art, but also guiding us in the best practices of how we can really deliver funding to you in a way that is less painful than other grant processes may be, but this is a unique grant opportunity with the Creative Economy Fund to really focus on sole proprietorships, LLCs, corporations, businesses that are not registered as 501c3s. And so I'm going to let Laura talk more about that throughout our time, but I want to really just emphasize that this is a really important need to provide this sort of funding to those in San Jose and Silicon Valley. So with that, I'm going to pass it back over. And I think we're going to start with the business of art. So I'm going to pass it to the business of art team.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Wiper, and I'm the Artist Knowledge Manager at the Center for Cultural Innovation, also known as CCI. I'm calling in today from Nevada City, California, which is on unceded Nisenan land. CCI was founded in 2001 as a California 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Our mission is to support individuals in the arts. That means artists, cultural bearers, creative entrepreneurs, to realize greater self-determination so as to unfetter their productivity, free expression, and social impact, which contributes to shaping our collective national identity in ways that reflect the diversity of society. We support arts workers through professional development workshops and grants like the ones we're talking about today, as well as special research and programs including Ambitious and the Soul Center for Liberated Work. We invite you to check out cciarts.org to learn more about all of these programs, sign up for our newsletter, follow us on socials, and so on. But today we're going to be talking about the San Jose Business of Art. And go ahead and go to the next slide, thanks. Our signature program, the Business of Art, is designed to enhance the business skills of artists and entrepreneurs working across the creative disciplines. It's taught by art business leaders with both commercial and nonprofit experience. The Business of Art curriculum is rooted in the idea that your art business is driven by two elements: your core values and the people who value what you do. Participants will learn key concepts involved in goal setting, business models, marketing and self-promotion, money management, both for your company and personal, legal issues, strategic planning, and project financing. Peer learning is a super important part of this program. That peer learning and relationship building is cultivated in small group breakouts. So now I'm going to invite my colleague Jenny Lin to tell you more about this year's program and application.
All right, hello. My name is Jenny Lin Tumalad Bailon, and I'm signing in from the unceded lands of the Chumash people, also known as Oxnard, California. I'm also a program associate here at CCI, Center for Cultural Innovation, and I'm actually especially excited to be here today as I will also be the facilitator for this program series, but I will tell you more on what that means later. So eligibility and selection criteria. So the 2023 San Jose Business of Art series will prioritize arts and culture workers with strong ties to the San Jose and South Bay arts and culture community. And of that community that applies, 25 applicants will be selected to participate at no cost. So thank you, courtesy of the Office of Cultural Affairs. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so let's talk about program goals. So who here wants to be able to pursue their creative passions and also make a living while doing it? Anyone? Anyone? Yes, definitely hands up. I see some hands up. Thank you. David. Well, in comes the business of art to all of y'all's lives. So the Business of Art series aims to help participants learn key concepts and strategies for marketing and self-promotion, money management, planning and project financing, get clear on your core values and who values your work, assess your strengths and available opportunities, create structure to meet your goals, and as well as meet local peers from across the creative disciplines in order to share knowledge and build relationships to support you as you grow. And while we will be meeting virtually, you're all going to be based in San Jose, so we encourage you all to meet each other outside of class too, hold each other accountable, and support each other's work. So much of this experience is about what we're learning and who you're embarking on this learning journey with. So we encourage this because in years past, we found that for those who are actually able to cultivate strong accountability partners in the program, they're more likely to continue the learning even after our graduation celebration. So let's talk about program structure. 10-week program, and it's going to be running from September 14th to November 16th. And it's going to be facilitated through Zoom, so what we're sitting in right now, on Thursdays from 2 to 5 Pacific Standard Time. And the weekly topics you'll see right in front of you, if you're able to visually see, or if you're just listening, hi, I will read it out loud. First week is going to be presenting yourself as an artist. Second week, identifying your values and setting goals. Third week, designing your business model and building a business plan. Fourth, promoting yourself and your work. Fifth week, legal issues. Sixth week, managing your money. Seventh week, funding your art project or business. Eighth week, moving forward with strategic planning. Ninth week, cluster counseling. And the 10th week, final art business presentation and graduation, my personal favorite. So let's go on to the next slide. So workshop participants will actually receive a free copy of the 3rd edition of the book. I'm just showing mine right here, yay, physical copy. The Business of Art and Artist Guide to Profitable Self-Employment. And each week's seminar corresponds with a chapter in the book. And it's often presented by the chapter's author, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the folks behind the program. So first is your program facilitator. That's me. Hello, hello, hello. I will be your program facilitator, and I come from a background of museum education and nonprofit capacity building, and I'm also an artist and independent curator myself. I will be with you throughout the course of the program to ensure that you're getting what you need to show up as your best self, to not only learn from the instructors, but also contribute your valuable knowledge as a working artist to us, as well as your cohort. So I'll be there to ensure the learning environment works well for you in terms of your learning needs, your emotional needs, and to also provide feedback to your facilitators to ensure that the work we're doing is making the greatest impact it can for you all. So our amazing team of instructors, which you can see in front of you, are experts in their topic who specialize in working with artists. And most are actually artists and creatives themselves. They each have several seasons of experience teaching this content, and most have contributed to the textbook, as I mentioned previously. Each instructor will present a 3-hour seminar on their topic. And then in week 9, you'll have the opportunity to meet with each of them again for small group cluster counseling. So, frequently asked questions. And of course, like we said at the beginning, you'll still have opportunities to ask more questions, but let's go over them. Missing classes. Okay, yes, life happens. You can miss a class. But priority is given to those who can commit to every session live, because as I've mentioned a couple times, a big part of the program are the relationships that you will build with your cohort. But like I just said, life happens and you may have to miss a class. If you do, and when that occurs, you can rest easy because sessions are recorded and we make them very accessible and viewable. Is there homework? Yes, yes, yes. But it's fun. We swear, it's really fun. Weekly homework assignments will include reading chapters from the workbook, completing worksheets, and we recommend allocating at least 1 to 2 hours each week for homework. It really depends on your reading speed. Homework is not going to be graded, so don't worry, you won't be, working on GPAs or anything like that. But we have found that artists who commit time to working on their art businesses outside of class tend to benefit the most from the workshop experience. So we also highly encourage artists to meet up virtually or in person to work on exercises together between classes. Given how isolated many artists are in their daily practice, we find that using the buddy system can really help with confidence, motivation, and accountability. And again, y'all are in San Jose, so please, please, please meet up with each other. So what are the tech requirements to participate? Computer, Zoom, strong Wi-Fi, boom, boom, boom. Materials will be shared via Google Drive, but a Gmail account is not necessary for access. And finally, is this program relevant to multidisciplinary artists? Yes, 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 yes. This curriculum is designed for artists and creatives working in any discipline. And you can actually expect your cohort to represent a diversity of artistic disciplines. We're very intentional about that. And finally, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just a reminder of the application deadline right in front of you, Wednesday, July 12th at 12 p.m. noon. And finally, before we hand it over to our colleagues, we just really want to reiterate our gratitude to be partnering on this program with the City of San Jose. This program normally costs $300 for enrollment, and any one of you who's accepted into the program, you'll be awarded this opportunity tuition free. So we encourage you all to think of this as a scholarship and to take full advantage of it when you are able to join us in the fall. So just thank you again to the City of San Jose for investing in its local creative community and economy. And that is our overview of business of art. So again, we'll take questions at the end in the chat and in the chat. So I'm going to turn it back over to Laura to tell us about the Creative Economy Fund. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, friends. Thank you, Allison and Jenny Lynn, and also thank you to Stephanie and Danielle. We're going to talk about San Jose Creative Economy Fund. So join me on this journey. We can go to the next slide. So the San Jose Creative Economy Fund will award project grants to arts, cultural, and creative-based commercial businesses that are located in the city of San Jose and involved in the production or distribution of the arts, including manufacturers, service providers, presenters, and designers, among others. Funding will support projects and activities aimed at building successful arts, cultural, and creative-based small businesses in San Jose. Applicants can request $1,000 to $8,000, and a total of $40,000 is available. Some of you in attendance, because I recognize a few names, and welcome, it's great to see you. So some of you in attendance, and maybe some of you watching today's recording, may remember the Creative Industries Incentive Fund, that's a mouthful, CIIF, and we administered that program in partnership with OCA. CIIF was the predecessor to the San Jose Creative Economy Fund. It was offered from 2013 to 2020. It went on hiatus as a result of the pandemic, which was a huge bummer, but we're excited that it's back in this new iteration, and it's now more streamlined, right? Previously, we had two categories of support, and now we just have this single support, which you might remember was business support, and that's essentially what this is. Next slide. So who is eligible to apply for Creative Economy Fund support? To be eligible for funding consideration, businesses must meet these criteria. You must be a commercial enterprise, including small businesses and sole proprietorships, which we've noted that the City of San Jose defines small businesses as those with 35 employees or less. We've also pointed out that businesses do not have to be brick and mortar. They can be online storefronts or nomadic enterprises as examples. Next, businesses must be based in the City of San Jose. They must provide a cultural, creative, or arts-related service or product. They need to be in good standing with the City of San Jose, which is evidenced through possession of an active San Jose Business Tax Certificate, which is also known as your business license or business permit. And applicants will need to provide a copy of this. If you need to register or renew your business, we've embedded a link in the presentation deck to the city's online tax collector. And then if applicable, as far as being in good standing with the city, if you've received funding through OCA or another city department, you must have fulfilled any funding requirements associated with that program or funding opportunity. So if you have an active grant or other sort of relationship, just make sure you're good on any requirements or deliverables. that were required as part of that funding. Finally, to be eligible for funding consideration, businesses cannot have a conflict of interest with the boards, staff, and directors of CCI or OCA. And we define conflicts of interest as existing when there is a familial connection or an active financial relationship between these parties, OCA, CCI, and the applicant. Next slide. So we just want to unpack the eligibility just a little bit further since this is such a unique opportunity. So we want to be clear that businesses can apply only once. In other words, businesses can't submit separate applications for different projects. Similarly, if you're an individual who owns or operates multiple businesses, you can apply only once and for only one business. We will not accept multiple applications from the same proprietor. This is so we can support as many unique applicants as possible in this competitive application process. So we do want to point out a few types of entities and projects that are ineligible for funding consideration. These include nonprofits, no 501c3s, individuals, organizations, or projects that will use a fiscal sponsor to receive grant funds if funding is approved, not eligible. Businesses that are not arts, culture, or creative-based. Projects that are already funded through another OCA grant. It's okay if you've received funding through OCA or another program, but if it's for this same project, not eligible. Projects that have already taken place. That's because you can only use funding, or rather, yes, you can only apply funding towards expenses that you accrued during the grant period. And then finally, incomplete Creative Economy Fund applications will be ineligible for funding consideration. So that doesn't just mean, say, not including a response to a narrative question, but also if one of your attachments doesn't work or is blank or something of that nature, it'll render your application incomplete. Next slide. If you're wondering what kinds of projects might be funded through the Creative Economy Fund, we've listed a few examples. And some of these were inspired by our CIIF grantees, which, by the way, you can learn about through the link that's embedded at the bottom of the slide. So some of these examples include storefront or other commercial space improvements that enhance a business's curb appeal, safety, and/or economic vitality. Seed money for a marketing launch for a particular arts-related service or product. Hiring additional staff or team members to support a holiday season, purchasing a new HVAC to address safety protocols, hiring a mentor, coach, or consultant for capacity building, strategic/business planning, or marketing support to grow an enterprise or build financial resilience, purchasing equipment or technology products to bring your business to the next level, and production of pop-ups, festivals, or other events that center local artists /arts-based micro businesses. Just examples, because we want you to identify or address the needs that you actually have. So who's making decisions and how will they be made? CCI and OCA will invite panelists with various backgrounds and expertise in the arts, arts-based business development, and related fields in San Jose to review eligible applications and make award recommendations. To inform their review, panelists will evaluate businesses and their proposed projects by their ability to contribute to San Jose's cultural vibrancy. They show evidence or signs of readiness for project launch or implementation. They grow and achieve greater financial resilience, and they demonstrate an economic impact, for example, attracting visitors, generating sales tax, creating jobs in the city of San Jose. Panelists will also aim to ensure that recommended grantees reflect the city's diverse cultural communities and creative-based commercial landscape. So to that end, the panel will seek to balance the final grantee pool across factors, which include geography, disciplines, community served, and cultural form and/or tradition represented. Next slide. So about the application. First and foremost, it must be submitted through Submittable, which is CCI's online grants platform, and that's also the platform you'll use to submit your Business of Art application if you're interested in applying for that. You'll see the application sections with brief descriptions on this slide, but we also have a complete application preview available on CCI's website. So the application consists of these required sections. You'll share your business information, and you'll provide information such as the year the business was established, a brief description of the business, the number of workers, revenue from the business's most recently filed tax year, whether the business has received funding from the city, and if so, through which program and when. And finally, this is where you'll upload a copy of your active business tax certificate. Oh, and by the way, if in applying you decide, okay, I need to register my business or I need to renew, and you don't yet have the active license in hand, or it's not, I know the city's database takes a couple days for your status to switch to active, just upload a copy of some kind of documentation that verifies that you successfully paid whatever is due for the certificate. Application. So next is the primary contact information. So this is just the name, phone, and email for the person who is completing the application. Then you have proposal details, very brief section that asks for the amount you're requesting and a short 1 to 2 sentence description of your request. You then have the narrative. So there's 4 questions in this section. They ask you to provide a more detailed description of the business, a project description, the project outcomes and how these align with the evaluation criteria, and team bios, as in who are the individuals or individual who will be involved with realizing the project. There is a budget, and it's limited to 1 page. You'll need to itemize your project expenses in the budget and identify any additional income sources. So if you're requesting $8,000 from us, but your project is actually $10,000, right? Your budget is $10,000. You'll want to identify where that $2,000 is coming from. There is a required budget notes section, and technically you can bypass this section by entering not applicable, but we strongly discourage you from doing this, okay? Whenever you have space in an application, you have landscape to provide more content about your proposal, take advantage of it. So this is where you'll explain the rationale for your expenses, like how did you come up with particular rates or get this particular estimate? And if you've identified additional income sources, tell us the likelihood of those coming through or how you arrived at those projections, right? All of this just makes the case stronger to support your project. And we do have a project budget template available on our website, but using the template is optional, right? You should format this in whatever way works for you. The next section is support materials, and we'll talk about this momentarily in the next slide. Finally, there's award administration information. Super simple. This is for us, because and it's for you too, I suppose. If awarded funding, this section is meant to help CCI prepare your contract and get you paid faster. So in this section, you'll just identify who the contract signatory is, and then you'll also provide us with an image that's representative of your business, because we like to have those kinds of assets on hand for future press and promotional purposes. Next slide. Okay, so support materials. These accompany the review of applications, and they're critical in helping panelists acquaint themselves with your business beyond what you've provided in the preceding sections. As a rule of thumb, we recommend selecting recent support materials, which for all intents and purposes, let's say 2019 or later. And if you're able to, provide us with materials that are related to the proposed project. For the Creative Economy Fund support materials, only 1 support material is required, but you are able to submit up to 3. We'll accept video up to 5 minutes and text/image-based support materials up to 5 pages. Here's the caveat. Panelists will review materials for up to 5 minutes in total. So if you're submitting more than 1 type of support material, you cannot submit the recommended total for each type. So for example, you can submit 3 minutes of video and 2 pages of text, but not 5 minutes of video and 5 pages of text. Support materials must be uploaded directly to the submittable platform. We won't accept documents that link to an outside platform. As an example, if you just upload a PDF with a YouTube link, incomplete. And I want to just provide a little context for that. This is, we have this rule because we've heard from panelists over the years that navigating to another platform, it takes time away from reviewing your application. At times, like for instance, with a YouTube video, they have to watch ads or, there's other kind of chaotic material in the background. Sometimes a link will be provided with multiple samples on a page and they're not quite sure where to concentrate their attention. So this is really a requirement that's meant to help you present your best work. Okay. Each uploaded support material must be accompanied by a 1 to 2 sentence description, just really brief. It's just meant to provide context for what you're sharing. And it should include viewing or playback instructions if applicable. And then lastly, for technical assistance, you'll request support from Submittable, and that link was shared in an earlier slide with Business of Art. It's also like everywhere in our application materials. Next slide. So dates, let's see, the application opened last Wednesday on May 31. Next week on Wednesday, June 14th from 12 to 1, Stephanie and I, join us, will be available on Zoom for applicants to drop in and ask grant-related questions. So this will not be a formal presentation, nor will it be recorded. Rather, it's an opportunity to just casually drop in. You can stay for the full hour or not. But you'll have the opportunity to ask your specific project-related question in real time. You'll need to register for the drop-in online, and we've embedded the URL in the deck. We just ask that to make this, as efficient a use of time as possible, just make sure you review the guidelines, application preview, and FAQs in advance. The application deadline is Wednesday, June 12th at 12 p.m. noon Pacific. Award notifications will go out on Tuesday, September 19th by 5 p.m., not a moment before. So on September 18th, please don't contact us because we won't have an answer for you, but I guarantee by September 19th at 5:01 p.m., you will have received a notification about your award status. And then the grant period of support is September 2023 through September 2024. And the next and final slide. Okay, we want to share just a few general tips that can help your CEF application, but also just grant applications in general. So first and foremost, review all the ephemera, all the things and words and videos. So that's guidelines, application preview, frequently asked questions. This webinar, I know you'll be watching it over and over again. The next tip is answer the question. So be sure to answer all that's being asked of you. For example, the narrative for this application asks you to describe your proposed project, including what funding will support, the scope of work, current stage of development, timeline, and specific goals. So I just counted 5 aspects that you're going to want to hit in your response. And actually it's 6 because you're also going to just talk, more broadly about the project itself. The next is be clear and to the point and avoid responses that are overly technical or dense or abstract. We just need you to communicate in a really clear way. It doesn't have to be fancy, and really think of it as, quality over quantity. You don't have to write 18 paragraphs to get, something that would only take 1 paragraph to get a point across. Let's see, have a friend look over your application to see if any important details were left out or whether anything is unclear. The next, if you can, apply early, right? Apply before the deadline to avoid running into technical issues. But another advantage to applying early is if you realize you made a mistake or left something out or want to expand upon something else, you're able to contact CCI and we can open up your application for you to make those edits and resubmit before the deadline. And then our last tip, of course, is we're here for you. So reach out to us with any questions. You can contact us at grants@cciarts.org or call 415-288-0530 during our office hours on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And appointments aren't required, but they're encouraged, and you can grab a spot in the link that's embedded in the deck, but that link is also everywhere on the website. So with that, we're done. We're done talking about CEF, and we can open things up for questions. So I invite you to raise your virtual hand or drop things in chat, and Stephanie will be moderating.
I don't see any raised hands, but okay, Eric. Actually, so Eric, we'll go to Eric first because I saw him raise his physical hand. And then we'll go to you, Debbie. Okay, you can unmute yourself now, Eric.
Oh, hey, everybody. Thank you for the cool seminar. I do have a question in regards to, I guess, like the business license for San Jose. So is that a different license than the sales and use tax with California? And is that something that we would need to sign up for on top of having that? This is new to me. I have no idea. I've never started like a small business before, so I'm very curious.
Good question. So, so you mean like if you have like a vendor license, you kind of referencing that? I wonder, it might be, yeah, that I need to look that up because I don't want to give you the wrong answer to that. Might be very similar, because if you're a vendor, I would assume you would have to, they would want to see that tax on there. So it might be similar. There might be some sort of crossover. It is different from the sales license. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I'll put the link in for the just the city business license. It's actually not a very difficult application, just so you all know. So don't get overwhelmed by the city business license applications. And there are exemptions from there in there as well. So even when you apply, you can actually ask for an exemption. I think the application is like something like $65, but then if your business income is under a certain amount, you can also ask for an exemption from that. So just know that that is a possibility. And the small business team at the city of San Jose is also incredibly helpful, and they have a very concierge approach to helping you as well. So don't be afraid of it at all. In fact, look at it as a really great opportunity to embark on that avenue.
Thank you, Eric. So we'll go to the David, and then I'll lift up a couple questions from the chat.
Hey everyone, thank you for the presentation. It was amazing. My question is, I just opened up an LLC for my business and don't have any of the tax information because it's in the first year. And if I'm embarking on said project with none of that information, would I still be eligible for getting this community fund?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that question, when we ask you for, what was your revenue, or we have pre-populated response options. So there are ranges. So I think one is say $0 to $100,000. And it's also just for informational purposes only. And we note that against particular questions, just to say, hey, this is not going to factor into evaluation of your application. This is for, we're just trying to get a sense of what is the commercial business, the commercial arts business landscape look like in San Jose. So we would take into account the fact that you just established yourself, and if you didn't have any revenue, then that's perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Of course. So next, I have a question from the chat. So someone asked, can I still apply even if my business address is in Los Gatos?
If you do, you do work in San Jose, like if your work is like not only for just those in Los Gatos, let's say your customer base is in San Jose and you are, it is like a 10-minute drive, right? So it's sort of like sometimes like you register, I have a business that's registered on my home, but I'll work internationally or whatever. So yeah, you can make that argument if you say I have most of my business is in San Jose, although it's registered in Los Gatos. You just have to kind of identify that in there.
Okay, so next we'll go to Ariel.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. My business is a sole proprietorship. However, I am fiscally sponsored. Am I still eligible?
Oh, yeah, you should be eligible. You just can't, if you're recommended and approved for funding, you wouldn't accept the funds through the fiscal sponsor. And just to unpack that a little bit, that's because this, as a fiscally sponsored project or organization, that means that you have access to those sorts of funding opportunities, whereas this is only meant for commercial or for-profit enterprises. So it's fine if you show up in all of these different ways in the sector, but for the purposes of receiving the funds, it should be by you or the business.
Okay, so I don't see any more raised hands, and there's actually, okay, someone just dropped something. They're asking, so what if I am wanting to be an artist business, but have not yet had any commissions yet? I feel like you may have touched on this, but I'm not sure if I understand.
Yeah, if you're considering, Ray and Melissa, if you're considering applying to the San Jose Business of Art workshop, you are in the perfect place to take that workshop. So, and I'll let the grant folks reply on the grant front.
I think I would need to know a little bit more about your circumstances, because we consider, if you have an artistic practice, that's your business, right? So I don't want to say just if you haven't, again, because I don't know enough, I don't want to say just because you haven't received commissions, you're not eligible. So, because that doesn't seem right to me. So why don't you reach out to us and we can chat and just hear more about your circumstances and give you a more informed response.
We also had a follow-up to the question regarding the business address in Los Gatos. So they're asking, so the business license is registered in the town of Los Gatos, but they serve the entire Bay Area. So do they still need to apply for a business license in the city of San Jose?
Yeah, they would, everything still has to have a business license in San Jose, and they have to demonstrate that over 50% of their program offerings are in San Jose. Like this is really, because this is still very San Jose focused. Like, I know, like, myself as an artist, I have an LLC. I'm like an individual LLC, right? It's my home, but I may practice all over the Bay Area. But where do I actually qualify for in this sort of kind of section? Let's just say that I spend my whole year, even though my home address, my LLC is registered here in Oakland. Sorry, I gave it out. I'm in Oakland. But then I spend my whole year doing business in San Jose, and that's all I did. 100% all my projects were in San Jose, everything. Then maybe that's like an example where I'm embedding myself in the San Jose culture and community and serving the San Jose folks. But let's just say, like, I have my business is registered in Los Gatos. I go to San Jose once a month, but most of the time I'm in San Francisco, or maybe I'm in Campbell or something like that. You know, we need to understand, like, how do you contribute to the San Jose culture and vibe. And I think that's going to be one of the evaluation, you know, when people are evaluating, they're going to see how have you contributed to the San Jose creative economy. And that's part of that evaluation process. But nonetheless, if you do practice in your business in San Jose, no matter if you're a sole proprietor, meaning like you're an individual artist and you're coming out with like objects type work product, you still have to register as a business in San Jose in order to be eligible to apply for the grant.
And for those who are going to apply for the workshop, the way that the question reads is it asks you to check box either next to I live in San Jose, or I work in San Jose, or neither. And when we say you work in San Jose, that doesn't mean you like get a paycheck from a company that's based in San Jose necessarily. It can mean you sell or practice your art in San Jose, things like that.
Okay, so we have another similar question in the chat. So they're, I think it's Rick. So they're asking, their LLC uses a registered address in Sacramento. Is that okay to use for the application, or should they use their home address, which is in San Jose?
Home address.
Yeah, that would make it easier. But the question is about like registering for the business license, because they would probably want to use the LLC. I have to follow up on that. That's a little bit of a stickier question because that's like a little bit.
I would say though, if someone entered for the Creative Economy Fund, if they entered a non-San Jose address, that would be immediate red flag of like. So even if there's a good rationale, I mean, the point is that this is for businesses that are based in San Jose, and also that's evidenced by the business tax certificate. So, and if it sounds like if your home address is in San Jose, then you are based in San Jose.
Yeah, you can use that.
And that makes sense. The person followed up by saying the registered address is to keep the home address private. So that absolutely makes sense. And I'll just, on the subject of privacy and confidentiality, for those who are approved for a grant, we typically announce that recipients through a press release. You'll be in our past recipient database. You'll be in our annual report. So your name and the business associated or the project will be in public facing materials. Folks who are declined, that would never be shared with the public. And also any of these contact level details would never be made, they'll remain confidential.
Yeah, but Ricardo, I think that like that's a good question. We could follow up with that. I think there's a because I know you have a business license, right? Yeah, so I think there's you can figure that out because I know you and you know you're in San Jose, so yeah, we'll work that out.
So for anyone on the call or that's watching this later, if you have various addresses and license locations, reach out to us so we can just hear what your circumstances are and think about the best solution or give you the best response for your circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no more questions in the chat. I don't know if anyone else in the audience has any other lingering questions. Like Laura mentioned during the presentation, we do have a drop-in Q&A session next Wednesday at noon. So if you want to join then, you'll have a chance to go into more detail about your specific circumstances. We'll also do some more digging and thinking around this question about the LLC, where it's registered, where you live, where you work. So hopefully by then we'll have some more answers for those of you who have that specific question or who have, special circumstances.
Great. Well, thanks, everyone. I want to see your
Thank
application.
you. Yeah,
More questions.
applications from each and every one of you.
Mhm.
Have a wonderful day, and the webinar and deck will be up by Friday, Stephanie? Okay.
Yes, by Friday.
Okay. Thank you all.
All right, take care.
Here.
Everyone.
Bye.